Hi, this is Weekly Reflections, and I'm NancyJoy. And this week, the title is The Gift of Rejection. You know, rejection is something we experience all through our lives. As small children, all the way continually, there is always some phase of rejection we attract into our lives. And, you know, this quote by Kathleen McGowan, whose book, The Source of Miracles, is outstanding, I might add, if you're interested. But, you know, she says here, rejection is God's gift to you. It's His way of telling you that you're on the wrong track. You need to move in another direction. Rejection is many things. That is the ultimate understanding of rejection. But of course, you do have the emotions you must move through when you are rejected. And let's face it, you know, it depends how attached you are to something that you've been rejected by a friend, a person. Usually, this always pretty much involves a person somewhere along the line. It might come in the form of an email, might come in the form of a letter of termination. It might come in the form of, guess what, we don't want to publish your book. It might come in, in many forms. But ultimately, it's a rejection of a person, of something created or done, or the being of another person. And so, when you can begin to embrace rejection, first of all, emotionally, before you take it to that place, okay, God wants me to move along. This is just, it's not going to be in my life anymore because it's not furthering my soul plan. It's not lifting me to where I want to be. That's great, but you do still have to deal with the feeling of pain and rejection. And so it's wise here to take that journey to look at the pain and what you're really grieving of. You've suddenly, where there was a fullness of something, a relationship, a possibility, a friendship, something has been in an instant pretty much. That's rejection is usually very swift. It doesn't take a long time. It leaves a void. It leaves a vacuum. And of course, wherever there's a vacuum, it seeks to be filled. So the first thing we fill it with emotionally is sometimes anger. How dare they? Or who do they think they are? But underneath the anger is always the pain. What's wrong with me? I try to be a good person. I love this person. Why am I being rejected? So that's the part where your ego tries to disempower you. That part where you're feeling that there must be something wrong with you or you've done something wrong. When really, if you just take rejection as a whole and use it to reconstruct a new reality, a new pathway, emotionally and mentally and inside yourself spiritually. And when I first read this, where rejection took me, it took me to a review in meditation of my most prominent, probably more recent rejections that I felt. One about something about the book I wrote, something about a friendship going awry, a family member criticizing me, that kind of thing. The more recent ones. But as I went back in time at some of the ones that were most difficult for me, I so see the beautiful redirection that I see. You're going to fill that void that this rejection, this thing moving out of your life has left you. You're going to fill it. And I can see where over time or sometimes quickly, I filled it with energy that I redirected to something else. In other words, if I've spent a long time angsting over something with one of my children that's not going right, feels like a rejection of mom, okay? When I move that out of that realm of a rejection of mom and I don't put any energy into it and I realize that it's pushing me not to keep moving in the same loop, I open a whole new field of relationship with that child because that's no longer filling so much. If you've had a very close friend and they're suddenly out of your life, yes, there's grieving, and yes, that hurts, but then suddenly there's this whole energy of time you spent with them, time you spent helping them, time you spent worrying about them, time you spent with them, whatever. It's free energy. It's a vacuum, and you have all this new energy to redirect you. We are all moving along our purpose, our soul path, every one of us. So these rejections are adjustments, and they can be a severe, like a 2x4, or a lot more mild. So as you embrace this understanding today and really take a look at rejections in your life and where you have taken them, perhaps you'll come to the place where you can begin to work with it as a rejection comes at you. Where, yes, you're going to get emotionally hit, but right away, consciously, if you can say, okay, I am feeling this, this does not feel good, and yet I am very aware that there is such a divine purpose in this rejection. Now, the major one of these, of course, is self-rejection. I mean, that's the most insidious, where we sit there rejecting ourselves. You know, we're not good enough, we didn't do this right. And that is such a dead-end street. The minute we can redirect those feelings and thoughts, the more energy we do have open to redirect into something positive. So take a look at this. Use this as an opportunity this Monday to delve into rejections in your own life and follow the journey and follow the path and have fun discovering the wonderful use, the wonderful gift that God gave you with every rejection. It's pretty refreshing, and it's very healing. The other thing I wanted to mention is the Egypt December 21st, 2012 trip has completely changed. We're not going over there for December 21st, 2012. It has been redirected through guidance and a whole series of rejections and events to being still a group on a private boat, a dahabeah, over on the Nile, and to be celebrating the 12-12-12, December 12th, 2012, on the Giza Plateau in the Great Pyramid. And it's a less expensive journey, and it's an incredible opportunity to align to the new reality and it's called the gateway to the new reality, hold that gateway open for the entire planet and for everyone. And we have that wonderful opportunity. So I'll be publishing the new trip details by next week, but be aware, and it may be something you'll be called to do. I sure hope so. People of Egypt are reconstructing everything. They've had their elections. Their new government is coming online, and they are so anxious to welcome us back into their hearts and into their lives. So have a great week, and we'll see you again next week.